Hey, what's going on, Brandon? You tuned in to Smoke Dog TV.
What up? What up?
What's up with it, brother? What's up with it, man?
Man, we're battling regulation on some online paperwork.
Oh, okay.
You know how it is.
For sure, for sure. How your day going?
It's all right. You know,
Really?
the stuff we've done multiple times and they want us to do it again and waste our time and our, time and money.
I finally got you on here, man. It took you long enough.
Yeah, for sure, man. Where are you out of?
I'm worldwide like handshakes, man.
All right, all right. Where you kick it at?
I'm originally from Texas.
All right, I'm from South Dallas.
Oh, yeah, South Dallas, Martin Luther King, MLK?
Nah, I'm white. I'm from Midlothian, down south of Cedar Hill.
I know what they said over there by Red Oak and shit like that.
Yeah, but I used to fuck around in Oak Cliff.
For sure, Oak Cliff, that's my hood.
Man, I used to serve up Bonneview and fucking Fawn Ridge.
Oh, okay. I know about Oak Cliff.
Back in the day, I moved up there off the Mexico border, so I had to connect. And I rolled up in there, and they tried robbing me, and I gave them a unit and said, "Take this to your boss, and I'll be back here in about 3 or 4 days." Tell them I got the price beat, and I served them up for about a year and a half.
Oh, man, allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly is what they said.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
So man, tell the people. You throwing together a bunch of content?
Huh?
You throwing together a bunch of content?
Yeah, I'm trying to build my YouTube channel and, build my network, put together people, stoners, smokers, people that's in the culture, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
That's where the world going. Everybody listening to podcasts and listening to shit on YouTube while they riding around or whatever they're doing, truck drivers, people at work, whatever the case may be.
Yep.
That's where it's at.
So, shit, I can start anywhere from 95 on, man. I've been in the industry.
Right. So where you say you grew up at? Where you really from? Like born and raised?
Man, all over. I went through 18 schools growing up. I was born in Springfield, Missouri, and then lived in Lubbock, Texas, and lived down in McAllen on the Mexico border. Then I graduated high school there in the Metroplex, and then I went to JUCO up in Muskogee County, and then over to OSU at Stillwater. And then whenever I left there, I went over and went to work in Ireland, and then ended up I did research in fresh cut flowers at Oklahoma State, and so that drugged me to Holland to the flower auction, and that's where I really, I'd grown before, but not for real, just kind of trial and error type shit.
Yeah. What kind of grow out was you running when you first started?
Man, back in '96 when I was still in high school, I just had my closet.
Okay.
Shit, we barely had internet back then, so get shit you had to, COD it and shit or money order.
Right.
And then once I got up to OSU, I got my hands on professional shit from those, from the agronomy research and shit like that.
Right.
Grant money that was used for research projects that the new research project, they didn't use that stuff. And so it was put in storage, and I got my hands on some big ass lights. Like the big old school bulbs. They're like 2 foot long, big ass bubbles. Right. That we put big ass reflectors on.
Okay.
And I ran those shit in college towns. You can rent those little efficiency apartments, and the landlord pays all the bills.
Right. So, all bills paid.
Right. So I'd rent them motherfuckers and blast them thou wows in there. And, them landlords are paying the electric bill on like 6 units, where they take a house and split it up.
Yeah.
And so they just think it's a high bill, or they got 30, 40 properties in town. they ain't looking at that added $600-800 a month.
Yeah.
So I got away pretty good with that while I was up in Stillwater, and then I was in Europe. I came back from Europe in 05. They were wanting me to sign a 12-year contract, man, and it's 8,000 miles too far to be away from my mama.
What you were doing out there in Europe?
Well, in Ireland, I worked for a company. I worked for the European Union Agriculture Department. Okay. So that's like our USDA.
Right.
And I was inspecting plants for pathogens or viral infections, taking tissue samples. That nursery in Ireland, they keep a age-appropriate replicated plant for all the government buildings and all of the historical buildings. So like all the castles and shit that have all the topiary around them.
Yeah.
They got an identical one out at the farm. I mean, it's manicured the same and everything. That way, if that one gets sick in front of that historical building or government facility, they can pull that sick one out and then put in that replacement, and it doesn't ever look fucked up.
Okay, I follow what you're saying.
It's kind of like the palm trees, you know, going down Rodeo Drive. They got backups for those king palms out on a farm because it just looked fucked up if two of them were dead, you know, or missing.
Right.
And so, or wherever that is on Beverly Hills Boulevard. And so they did that. I had some exposure to that. My dad was in the hotel business. And he got scammed by some maintenance dudes that were making them palm trees, them king palms go dormant. And so the hotel was buying another one. They're about 100 back then. They were about $100,000 for them 30-footers. And those guys were just hauling that one out to their ranch and, you know, watering it for a month, and it'd come out of that dormancy, and then they'd sell it back to. So they only had to buy one to get started. And then they, you know, the next season, 2 more of them are sick. And they took my dad and his partners for $2 million just doing that shit.
They were finessing.
They were finessing.
Yeah.
They were in cahoots with the food and beverage manager, and they were shutting down like the old hotels that had a nightclub in them, you know. Right. And they'd shut down at like 8:30 and say, you know, we didn't have anyone in there. Shut down, close the books. Then they'd open back up on their dollar. And this is down at Tucson, Arizona. And whatever liquor got consumed, then they went over to Mexico and bought cheap liquor to replace it. That was already, you know, put it back in the taxed bottles. And right. So they were hustling them pretty good. But yeah, so man, growing up in the hotel industry, around the hotel industry and shit, I seen it all. Down there on the border, I seen the fucking DEA and the cartel and the fucking buyer all check in at the same fucking time, you know, and go out to dinner together. You know, I found all sorts of shit from meth labs to fucking kilos in those hotel rooms. And so I was exposed pretty heavily.
Damn, you seen all that?
And fuck yeah, man. I used to have to flip mattresses in all them rooms. I find all sorts of shit. Porn, fucking video equipment, you know, I mean, everything. Everything goes down in a hotel.
You ain't lying about that, bro.
You already know.
Yeah, for real.
So I quit growing for about 3 years until they started coming out with these tent setups. And I got one, but I worked in the global cattle feeding industry is what my career was stateside. And I did it for 15 years it's the largest meat protein provider in the world. 56 countries we provide over 50% of the beef to.
Okay. You said the meat. I thought you were talking about smashing on the bitches. Okay.
No, I'm off the hotel stuff.
Oh, okay.
No, I was in the global cattle industry.
No, I'm fucking with you. I know what you're talking about.
And I did ruminant nutrition for them. So and all their education training. So my degree's in agriculture education, professional services, and so that's like ag teaching, but on a corporate level. And so I do all the onboarding, all the management development, all the safety training for 13 facilities in the U.S.
Okay, you still do
And then
that?
all the nutrition. No, I'd quit doing that in about 14, 15. I quit doing that, and I knew how to splice telecom, and I jumped in that and did some contracting work, and then finally I wrecked my motorcycle and fucked my foot up real bad and had to go through a bunch of surgeries. And I came out here to Oklahoma to visit a few friends while I was out of work, and my buddy broke his neck while I was here, and I was on crutches. So,
damn, how you break his neck? We got to hear that. We can't just skip past that.
Shit.
Let's start there.
Well, and then I'll tell you who he is. You may have heard of him. We went out to Keystone Lake to get Kicker Speaker's boat. You know, the Speaker's Kicker?
Yeah, the kickers back in the day. Solo barrack and stuff. Yeah,
Stillwater Kickers. They're made in Stillwater, Oklahoma.
Okay.
So we go to get their boat. They're going to wrap it and put a new system in it. And so we go out to the lake and we're like, fuck, we got this boat. Let's cruise a little bit, you know? It's like on a Monday. And we go out and park the boat on a beach, and he goes to do a backflip off the swim deck. And that boat slips out from under him, and he lands on his head.
Damn.
And
he been drinking or something?
No.
He was sober.
I've known him over 25 years, and great friend of mine. And he would backflip anything, you know.
Yeah,
we go to Mexico on vacation. He'd backflip off fucking whatever, you know.
Yeah, he's just a wild boy.
Right. Just having fun.
Yeah, for sure. Living life.
You know, they say it's always fun till someone gets hurt.
Yeah, that's what Granny used to say.
Anyway, so he's got a broken neck. His wife is already in a wheelchair, and his mother's in a wheelchair. And he's thinking
got bad luck.
Well, his mom's got cerebral palsy, and so he grew up with her being in a wheelchair, and so he doesn't see it, you know. And so he met his wife, and so he doesn't see that in a person just because he's raised around it. But then he breaks his neck, and he thinks he's going to be in a wheelchair, and he's like, fucking kick me off the back of this boat, dude. And so while that was like in August of 18, and so obviously in September, 788 passes, right?
Okay.
And he had an idea that stemmed back to Santa Rosa, California, and a trip that we took in 2016 out to the Emerald Cup. And, you know, in travel, he said, man, I want to do something like this one day, something like the Emerald Cup. And, you know, fuck, we're in Oklahoma. There ain't no even talk of it passing in 16. And so we're like, yeah, that'd be cool to, you know, have something like that. So his name's Daniel Lewis, and he's the owner of the Cowboy Cup, which is a cannabis competition in Oklahoma every December, the first weekend in December. It's a trade show, a harvest fest, and a cannabis competition for commercial growers.
Okay.
And 788 passed, and we started saying, all right, let's do this thing. And the first 4 years we had it in Stillwater at the Tumbleweed. And this year we had it in Tulsa at Expo Center.
Expo Center? That's pretty big.
Yeah. We grew up a little bit.
Sure.
And me being the old cowboy, I was like, man, you can't give away just a cannabis cup, man. That's trash, you know. There's little league football trophies that are worth more than that thing is. And I said, look here, you need to get, this is what the prize needs to be, is a championship belt buckle.
Right.
And so we give away
You on
for
some
20.
Vince, you on that Vince McMahon shit.
Right. Well, you know, you may not know who the champion bull rider is, but whenever he walks back there with that belt buckle on, everyone knows exactly who he is.
Goddamn
And that's
right.
what we wanted to try to push was, you know, there's the BHO champion, there's the diamond champion right there with him. And people recognize them just off of those Cowboy Cup buckles.
For sure.
And they sell a lot of product. I think we got 23 classes. I think they added carbonated and non-carbonated drinks.
Okay.
And so all the BHO, I think they do a BHO solid and a BHO wax and a distillate or a cart. I know they had the diamonds category because I back judged our judges on diamonds. But anyway, indoor flower, light assist, you know, true outdoor. I think we had about 300 entries in flower.
Damn.
So it's a cool deal.
What's your best flower to smoke on, man?
Man, I would have to say Gusher Pie.
Gusher Pie.
Yep.
Okay. I ain't never even smoked none of that. I gotta smoke some of that shit.
Yeah. Check it out, man. It just went on contract and went global with a grower out west. So there ain't no more seeds available of it. There ain't no clones available of it. I bought these seed packs a week before it went on contract.
Okay.
So all I fuck with is Green Fire Genetics.
You growing indo, outdoor, greenhouse? How you doing?
Indo.
Okay.
Rock wool, drip to drain, cubes on slabs.
They say we blow indo. I might be on Jay Leno. They be like, Flip, can you listen to my demo? I tell them no, because I got shows to do. After the concert, I got hoes to screw. Yeah, that little Flip. You don't know nothing about that. My bad. I be drifting
right.
out. I be drifting
That's
out.
right. That's right off the tip, ain't it?
But
Sound like Harry Mack. You sound like Harry Mack.
But shit show macking on a bitch, man. Demanding it. You understand? Got my hand out, sock it to my pipe.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. But back to the subject at hand, my bad.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, this being a medical deal in Oklahoma, I viewed it a little different. I got to be in Rockwell, you know, in a medical type environment for it to be medical product. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm a traditionalist in my personal values as well as my legal standpoint on this cannabis deal. I still got my brothers down on Bonneview that like this shit too, you know.
Oh yeah, what you know about that Bonneview, man?
And I know all that shit down there. That Charlie's Chicken right there on the motherfucking corner.
What you know about Village Oaks?
What's that?
What you know about Village Oaks? The apartment's called Village Oaks.
Man, I didn't fuck around over there.
Oh, okay.
I fucked around with Fawn Ridge and Bonneview.
For sure. Yeah, it be rolling over there. It still ain't nothing changed, you know.
No, hell no. It's still rough. Yeah, I'm still the only white boy who goes down there.
Hey, it ain't about the race, man. It's about the money, man. It's about the business. Yep. You got foreigners that been coming over here for years, opening up stores in the hood. They ain't never happened to them.
Yeah, I was on that south side, so I'd hit 20 and just exit Bonneview, and boom, I could be from Midlothian up there in about 18 minutes. Yeah. And so, you know, Midlothian was predominantly white, you know, kind of a little farm town.
Oh, yeah, they're redneck city.
And I had cattle ever since I was little. And whenever I moved up there, I was like, where's the weed at? And they're like, hey, you go up here and go to Bonneview. I rolled up there and them motherfuckers try robbing me, you know?
Damn.
But this white boy's straight off the Mexico border, and I seen some shit. And
straight off the brick.
And, you know, I gave up my $20. I said, I'll be back, motherfuckers. Watch this shit. And I went and grabbed a couple units and rolled back up there. And they're like, you dumb motherfucker, you come back up here. I handed him that brick, and he's seen that other one sitting in the seat. He said, "Give me that other one." And then he seen my Uzi and decided he better back up a little bit.
Allegedly.
And I told him to give that brick to his boss, and I would beat their fucking prices. And
Allegedly.
And then they hit my damn pager up, and so I rolled back up there and met with the boss man, or the sergeant, and met with him, and he put in an order, and I loaded up my livestock trailer and I rolled down the Mexico border, and loaded up a box and put a couple calves on top of it, and I'd been moving cattle, so them checkpoints knew me. They just waved me on through. And I did that for a long time, man. Just moving cattle, across Foul Furious checkpoint. And people think Mexico ain't got no good weed, right?
Right.
Man, they're trying to get that $100 weed that costs them produce. They're trying to get it up north where they can get $600-$800, instead of, what back in the day down there in the hood, you get a pound for about $4.25.
Yeah, you get a unit for about that. Yeah, back in the day. 300, 375, 425.
Right.
Like
yeah,
that.
depending on how bad it was.
Yeah.
I was grabbing it off the border for like $50 to $60.
Damn. A P?
And I was dropping it to them guys like at $3.
Was that Mexican brick weed that was soaked in gas and shit?
Yep. But they said, hey, can we get anything better when we start seeing that, green hit the streets?
The popcorn. Remember that popcorn came around?
Popcorn, right. The kind bud.
Yeah, that's what they call the kind bud.
I went down there and hit up my boy in Reynosa, and everyone's like, there ain't no good weed in Mexico. Bullshit. The word Sensimilia is Spanish, and it means seedless. And so I went down there and asked my boy, hey, man, you got any sense? He's like, hell yeah. Turned me on to the fucking Chronic. That shit was running about $450, $400.
That shit was like Kush before Kush. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and shit, we were just calling it cents back then, Sensimilia.
You said it was running 400 what? A pound?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was about 5 times as much as what that brick was. But they really didn't want to sell that brick right there at the border because it ain't worth nothing. There ain't no profit margin.
What you were getting? Bells?
You're getting boxes.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Yeah, getting 100 units at a time.
Yeah. Units in the city.
But they were all single pack. They weren't the fucking 10-kilo bales.
Right. I follow. You was plugged in with the cartel?
Yeah, you could say that. It all goes back full circle. Allegedly, right. Yeah. My dad was in the hotel business. There was some organized people involved.
So was he in the hotel business or was he running a brothel?
All of it.
I'm fucking with you, man. Allegedly.
I tell you where we made a lot of money was them damn Julio Cesar Chavez fights.
Oh yeah.
$20 a pop to watch that fight, and we pack 3 or 4 hotel rooms full of people.
Right. Because it's on every TV in that motherfucker.
That's right. We got 300 rooms. Let's rent them.
What hotel was that again?
Well, him and his partners owned the most Holiday Inns.
Just what city and state?
They own the most Holiday Inns in the U.S.
Damn.
And so it's a guy named John Q. Hammonds out of Joplin. And he's like, the library's named after him, streets are named after him, all sorts of shit. And then a guy named Bobby Jones from Arkansas. And those three, and my dad, they were partners. Bobby Jones, his brother, you probably heard of. Well, you weren't off of Luke 12. His brother's Jerry Jones.
Oh, yeah?
And so Bobby was in the hotel business and Jerry was in fucking the Jerry Jones business.
So you ain't no trust fund baby, is you?
I'm not a trust fund baby. I am a broke motherfucker right now.
What happened to all that money your daddy accumulated?
Shit, man. It all worked itself out into partnerships, and we had some healthcare businesses that the government decided to change laws on, and they confiscated some of our stuff. Um, we legally still have a big house up in Wagner County, but it's got a 16-foot fence around it and spotlights on it.
For what?
They seized it. So what they did,
like a forfeiture?
Yeah, what they did was, so we own the biggest hospice in Texas, home health care. And then we sold it and we moved to Oklahoma. My mom's from Oklahoma. And we moved our business up here for non-compete. And she was the biggest hospice in the Tulsa metro area. Right. And then some laws were passed. And anytime they pass laws, they'll tie some shit to it, that amends something else. And anyway, they were saying terminally ill patients need to expire or die in a certain amount of time. And this is all we're going to pay you for is whatever it was, 73 days on service. Well, we had patients that were on service for 2 years, some of them. Right. And they back billed us for all that shit for 3 prior years. When they say you got to save 7 years on your documents, it's so they can dig that shit back out and fuck you.
If they run an audit on you.
Right. And they took us for about $63 million.
God damn, cuz.
Which we couldn't pay. And so my dad passed away he had a fatal heart attack. He had heart failure already, but
sorry to hear that.
And my mom picked up and she moved to Alaska.
Anchorage, Alaska? She was out there in Anchorage?
No, she's about 1,000 miles south of there.
Oh, okay. Everybody, when they go to Alaska, they always be like they was in Anchorage and shit like that. I ain't never been. I just always hear them say this shit.
She lives on an island. So if you put Alaska on the U.S., she would be in Florida.
Okay.
She's all the way over there by Canada. It's a temperate rainforest.
Right.
So they get like 200 inches. It's like Seattle. They get 200 inches of rain a year, but it never gets super cold. And she runs some Airbnbs up there and some charter fishing boats for sport fishing.
That's what's up, bro. That's a blessing, bro. Your mom's still alive. You got a good relationship with her.
Yeah, she was born in 1945. So she's getting up there in age.
Right.
But yeah, she's still a go-getter. She's in OKC right now. She comes down for the winter. She's getting a shoulder replacement. OKC's got the best orthopedic surgeons. If you got anyone shopping around for an orthopedic surgeon, all the NFL players get their knees done in OKC.
No shit.
Yeah. Yeah, just the prestige that, OU puts out a lot of good football players. They put out a hell of a lot of linemen. And I think that's where some of that stems from, is all them linemen getting their knees done. And then OU being a medical school, POW, being a medical school, they go back there and they got their doctors and shit that are OU grads. And me being an OSU guy, I don't like it too much. But so I came up here to Oklahoma, went to college, and I was a recruit, so I had to have a on-campus job. Yeah. And so I picked hall monitor, and boom, that put me in the exact position I needed to be in to fucking slang. And so I sat there every evening for 3 hours, and if you want to bring a girl up, that's going to cost you. If you want to bring beer in, that's going to cost you. I knew everyone that was stoned, you know what I mean? They're coming up smelling like weed. And so boom, I was putting them on client list and making my student wages. And so I did the same thing whenever I got to Stillwater. I found that job again. And until I got on that research project for them flowers. And then that got me in the greenhouses where I wanted to be.
Right.
I didn't realize at the time that that's what was going to be my ride to Amsterdam. Because all the flowers in the world that get put into bouquets, they all get harvested, flown to Holland, auctioned off, sent back out to the florist, and then the bouquets are made and they're right there in Walmart for you to pick up because you pissed off your old lady.
So that's what you're doing nowadays? Like, what you do nowadays? Like, what's your business?
No, I'm 100% professional grower, consultant, investor.
Right.
So I fuck around. I'm a professional gambler. I fuck around with cows, casinos, and cannabis.
Right. So what's your product? You want to promote it on here on the channel on Smoke Dogg TV? You want to let the people know?
Yeah, hell yeah. So my brand is Got Your Six, veteran owned, and goes back to the Veterans for Suicide Awareness. And we always got your six, man. You buy 5, I got your 6. I got you covered. I got your back. And I beat anyone's price out there. It don't matter. I'll beat the price.
You'll beat the price. Y'all heard that. He gonna beat the price, man. That's the plug, man. Y'all holler at the plug, man.
I got the prices beat already because the way I set up my business. So right. and I can elaborate on that, and everyone else can go out and win that way.
When you growing it, man, it's like you creating water. You know what I'm saying? Like you creating
right,
but you know, nothing into something.
I mean, there's a production.
So you can have the best prices. You're gonna have the best prices.
Right. We got to hedge out the cheapest production cost. We got to reduce our variable expenses, right?
Right.
And the way I do that personally, I'm a really good greenhouse grower. I use that for extract. But whenever I do my projections for my business, because I created on paper, and whenever I got it good on paper, then I execute that shit in reality.
Put the blueprint down, then you build it. That's how you do it.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. You ain't gonna build no house, without the prints.
Yes,
and
sir.
So whenever I do my projections for my greenhouse, I project it at 100 pounds of flower coming out of there. It's the number I use on 300 plants. And most of my greenhouse is better than a lot of people's indoors. Sad to say, but
you sell it right to the dispensaries?
No, I process all of my greenhouse gets processed into waxes, oils, crumble, sugar shatter batter, crumble. I do a traditional craft wax that I always make. So I do it 100% clone to customer. I do my branding, I do my stickering, my packaging, everything I do. And there's only one set of hands that touches my product, and that's mine.
Yeah, my baby mama's sister, little brother, cousin.
Right. I don't want.
He had one of the 3.5. I was trying to see, could you serve?
I don't want a product that's had 50 different sets of hands on it.
No, I was saying my baby mama cousin, little brother, he was trying to get a 3.5. I was trying to see if you could serve him a 3.5. That's why I was asking. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But you say you turn it out of concentrates.
Right, out of the greenhouse.
Okay, so you ain't selling no flower.
For my personal business. Now okay. I got a brokerage business too.
Okay.
And so off that greenhouse, anything I produce over that 100 pounds, that reduces my production cost, right? Okay. So the national average to produce a pound of weed in a greenhouse is about $325, $275 to $325. If you got it set up with depreciation on your capital assets and all that shit. I won't get too much into the business. But a lot of people go, shit, we gotta sell it for $3,000 a pound. Well, you can't pay off your facility on your first harvest. you got to, it's got to be a 10-year deal or something.
Right.
Whatever your business plan is, which sadly to say,
like you said earlier, they're 7 years. Yeah.
Right. Sad to say, a lot of people didn't have a business plan in the Oklahoma industry.
They just freestyle.
Right. A lot of people don't have a business plan in normal business.
They just want to do something. They want to have a sense of accomplishment and see their name on some shit.
Right. Yeah, you always see them get the signage out and the T-shirts out first thing.
Yeah.
When they need to be focusing on budget.
Right.
So let's say I harvest 125 pounds. That's 25% more. What I do with that profit that I get off of that 25 pounds is I reduce my indoor production cost.
Right.
So that drops my unit indoor nationwide. Your average production cost of an indoor facility is about 425 to about 5.25.
Okay.
And then above that is polycarbonate greenhouses.
Okay.
And that's about $600 a pound to produce out of those.
That ain't bad.
And so offsetting my indoor production cost,
we got 2 minutes.
That instantly makes my flour. It doesn't have to be the best because I'm not trying to be the best.
Right.
I'm trying to win at the game.
Exactly. And you don't got to be Michael Jordan, but you could be on the team and still get a ring.
Right. And that's what my budget is and all my projections and shit. That's my playbook.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, Steve.
And so now instead of $425 units, I got $325 units because that 25 pounds out the greenhouse offset it.
God damn.
And so now I'm winning whenever I'm going into the dispensaries, right?
Yes,
they say, we look at flour on Wednesdays. And I'm like, man, I'm only available Tuesday. Let me come over there and holler at you. I'll cut you a hell of a deal.
Talk that talk, Brandon.
And so I show up over there, let's say with a unit, right?
Yeah.
So not that I think I'm going to sell this unit, and I'm going to make a profit on it.
We got 1 minute left.
I'm going to get the customer.
Right.
And I show up with also 100 grams of them dabs.
Yeah.
Right. And so this is my start to the whole fucking gamut. I said, man, I know you're only paying $1,600 a pound with the competition. I know the farmers, Farmer X, Farmer Y, and Farmer Z. I know them. They're great guys. They produce a good product, and they always have it for you in supply. But my flour, it's not the best in the world, but it's $2,600 a pound. And they go, oh, shit, we can't afford that. And I say, hold on now. I'm going to give you 100 grams of dabs for a penny to go with that. And they go, oh, shit, that's a good deal.
Right.
Change their mind real quick.
Hey, I don't mean to cut you off. But we finna have to cut it out because we reached the time limit. Anything you want to say to the people, like where to reach you? Your TikTok, your Instagram, anything?
Yeah, 2B for Life 97 on YouTube. You can check it out, see what I do. I'm Brandon Lewis Bottom on Facebook.
Yes, sir.
And the largest used equipment page out there, Oklahoma Cannabis Equipment for sale, buy, and trade.
Yeah.
We got about 10,000 people on that